U of R stepped up recruitment recently in many different areas. Aside from proximity, why should students choose U of R over the competition?
Well, I think the University of Regina is the right size for many students. It's big enough to be comprehensive and small enough to wrap your arms around it.
Okay.
So, I love walking the hallways and seeing students that I've met before and that I know. So it's small enough that you can build a community quickly. You don't get lost. And yet it's big enough that it offers comprehensive breadth and depth of programs. So I think it's a perfect size.
Excellent, thanks. What decisions or policies have you enacted as president which improve student life the most?
I think there's a number of things that, not myself as president, but the university has enacted. When I first came here, we had not invested a lot of money in student services. We had very few staff there. That was an area that I thought was really important and for student quality of life. So we invested in the UR Guarantee Program, in international student support, in student mental health support. So in students with disability support. So my first 3 years here, that was a real emphasis, is to build up our student services to support students. And I think that in the long term has really enhanced quality of life for students. Also residents' life, the new residents. We do know from statistics that students who live on campus have better academic performance. So that's a really important, they get engaged more. Also student employment. On campus, we've enhanced the number of students who get jobs on campus, which we also know enhances student achievement. So, everything we've tried to do, we've looked through the lens of students' quality of life.
Right on. How do you feel about the UPass, which it looks like we'll be enacting in September?
I'm very supportive of the UPass. I was very supportive of the referendum first, that students have a choice, and then I had said whatever choice the students make, I will support them, and they chose the UPass. And I think this generation, your generation, you're much more environmentally conscious, you're aware of the impact of vehicles on the roads, and so I think it reflects the values that this generation holds dear.
Perfect. Do you encourage the use of public transport among university staff?
Yes, our provost takes the bus every day to work.
Perfect.
And he doesn't drive at all, and he does that with great pride.
Do you ever use public transportation yourself?
I use my legs. I walk to work. And most of the days I walk to work, the majority of the days, unless I have a meeting or I walk to work, no matter what the weather. So that's one of my...
brave in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, one of my very, very many pleasures is to walk to work.
Excellent. What are the biggest problems currently at U of R?
Well, I think we've had an unprecedented growth on our campus with student numbers. When I came 7 years ago, we were under 11,000. We're now 14,500. So I think that level of growth at a time of fiscal restraint is a challenge for our universities. Our government funding we've never been cut, but has not kept up to inflation. So we've had to make cuts to maintain a balanced budget. That has been and continues to be a great challenge for us.
Could you be a little more specific as to which areas have suffered due to the lack of increased funding?
I'm not sure. I think we've been able to be extremely efficient and look at efficiencies. What I think has been challenging for many of our professors, I would say the small class sizes has been compromised. We've had to look at whether we can offer sort of niche programs with small class sizes. We haven't been able to do that. We've had to be less adventurous, take less risks, and bringing in professors in a program that's not growing on the belief that it might grow. We haven't been able to take those kinds of chances. I think that some of our physical infrastructure has been challenged, and we have to keep working on making sure we tackle that. So I think there's a number of areas that have been challenged by. However, I think we've done very, very well. Just alone in the president's office, we moved a vice president, which I think has been a challenge for us. We had 2 people leave, and we merged those jobs with other people. So we in the president's office alone are down 4 full-time staff, because we also merged the associate VP research with the associate VP academics. So I would say that, we attempted to model and role model what we could do even at our office level to show that, we can make efficiencies, but it's at a cost. People, are working harder, doing more, and it's a challenge.
Okay, building on what you said about infrastructure, there are a lot of leaky roofs around campus. I'm wondering why these haven't been fixed.
Well, many have been fixed. We have a pretty aggressive program on campuses. This year, $8 million is being spent on deferred maintenance. We have a whole program of fixing our roofs. Many of the buildings were built around the same time, so we got hit in the last couple of years. If you build a series of buildings around the same time, the cracks all show at the same time. So we've been putting a process in place of fixing roofs. To replace a roof is about $2 million, $1 to $2 million, depending on the roof. So you can't replace them all at once, and you don't want to replace them all at once, so you're going to have the same problem again. So we're trying to do a systematic approach where we replace a roof, and then we patch a roof and know that in 3 years we need to replace it. So we have a system in place so that they're not all replaced at once, and that we don't face the same thing we're facing now a decade out.
Okay, back to the deferred maintenance. How can the administration justify the new construction projects going on around campus when the U of R has 3 times the national average of deferred maintenance?
So let me speak about the 3 times the national average. Our largest deferred maintenance issue is College Avenue campus. It's not the main campus. So College Avenue campus is over 100-year-old campus, and if we can get College Avenue campus revitalized, we've taken care of a large problem that we have in deferred maintenance, and that's what we've been trying to do, Taylor. As you know, we've been fundraising, working with government, trying to get that project done. So that has been a real emphasis for us. So saying we have 3 times is you have to look at the whole campus. People forget that we have a 100-year-old campus as part of our campus community. There are 3 different types of monies that we get from government. One is operating, one is deferred maintenance, and one is capital, and they're very separate. So we can't take the money for capital and put it in deferred maintenance. So we can and should be building new buildings as we go forward, and that's a separate fund completely. So they don't cross over. So what we've been doing is supplementing the deferred maintenance with fundraising monies. So we got $5 million for deferred maintenance this year. We spent $8 million on it, deferred maintenance. So we know that that's an issue we want to tackle, and that's what we're doing. But that's why you have to build for the future as well as take care of what you have at the same time, if you're a good steward, right? Especially a growing campus. So building the residence is a very important part of student life, student comfort, student capacity, to be able to live on campus, to find living when they want to go to university. That is as important as fixing a leak in a roof. And so we look at the big picture. We can't just concentrate on one aspect.
Gotcha. I'm glad you mentioned the new residence. Students in the new residence building have been putting up with ongoing construction since the start of the semester. I know it wasn't really completed on time, but I'm wondering if there's anything being done to compensate the inconvenienced residents or speed up the construction process. Well,
we have been working really closely with the students in the residence, and they have been, and their parents have been very understanding. We've asked them if they wanted to move out while the construction was done. The few students who have found it very difficult, and they have said no. We have not moved them out. They don't want to move out. So the majority of the rooms were complete. It was the outside construction and some of the lobby work that needed to be done. When I was there on move-in days, the 2 move-in days, I talked to parents. Any student who had a complaint, we within 2 hours were able to fix the issue, and they were very appreciative. I know that the resident staff has been extremely conscientious of working very closely with the students that are there. Now, there are going to be a couple who are unhappy, but the majority of them are appreciative of what we've been doing and trying to make sure that they're not inconvenienced, and we'll continue to do so.
Excellent. On a more personal note, how do you think your background in education has impacted your time in university leadership?
Well, my background, I'm an educational psychologist, and I think that helps me a lot. I think sometimes when things get rough and tough, I have to remember not to take things personally, because there's lots of personal stuff said out there. And I think I recognize that people are reacting to a concern in a way that they know how. And so that's challenging. I think the focus on students that we've had over the 8 years, the real emphasis on student quality of life, student supports, I think that comes from an education background. And you know, I would hope that my legacy will be that all of the programs put in place to support students. That's where my emphasis has been and will continue to be. I also think one of the gifts I have is a strong team, and not just my leadership team, but it goes right down to the campus. There are faculty members who are exceptional, there are students who are exceptional, and I see them as part of the leadership team. You know, you can lead from in front, lead from side by side, or lead from behind, and I'm lucky in this campus that I have leaders leading from every place.
Thank you. What are your favorite things about University of Regina?
This young woman came up and she tapped me on the arm and she said, "Hello," and I said hi, and she told me who she was and what she was working on, and she just she recognized me, and she was able to let me know how she was doing. That's my favorite thing about being the president of this campus, is the students will stop me in the hallway and they'll tell me things and they'll let me know what's going on, and I don't think that happens for every university campus. I think that they know who I am, and it's very positive. That may be because of Caroline runs some pretty spoofy pictures of me. But,
I didn't have anything to do with that.
You know, but they students do take the time to chat with me and let me know how they're doing. And you know, university for me, I came from a very poor family, a mining family. My dad was a miner. And university, if you had told me when I was your age that one day I would be university president, I would have been shocked.
So on the flip side of that, what are some of your least favorite things about U of R?
My least favorite thing is when I know faculty are upset, and in particular it's about something that I cannot fix or do anything about. And sometimes they're upset about things that are national issues, right? And they look to me to fix it and to change it, and I cannot, either because I have to look at the big picture, and in the big picture it isn't a priority, or that it is a specific faculty member's concern and not really the campus concern, or even a unit's concern and not the campus's concern. And I find that very difficult because it's legitimate and genuine. But my job can't be running and fixing every concern, and plus there are a lot of different views on campus. No matter what anyone thinks, a university is a very, very complex place to manage. And no matter what you do, you're going to have supporters and you're going to have non-supporters. From building a sign to investing in student services, in the international student support. I have people who support both those things and people who are against both those things, right? They're two perfect examples.
Must be difficult trying to please everybody on campus.
You can't please everyone. And some people that you are unable to please get very angry and get upset. And that is bothersome. I don't want my faculty and staff upset. I want them to want to come to work. I want them to enjoy their job. I want them to thrive in this environment. So that would be the thing where I can't fix what they would like me to do.
Well, thank you very much. That's all the questions that I have for you. Thanks again for talking to us this morning.
Thank you, Taylor. I hope that I was able to answer them to your satisfaction.
I think so.